Yo, what's up, everybody? How you feeling tonight, man? I got a great show for you, a great podcast. I got a great brother, man, musically talented, bro. Like every time I see him perform, I'll just be like, wow, right? The things that the ranges he can hit, every note that he hits, bro, I'll be amazed by him. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan. I'm super proud that he hit me up and he said he wanted to interview. And it wasn't about the music. It's about his music, but it's more about his life, him telling his story, controlling his narrative, and also understanding that he is unstoppable. That's right. I believe that in life we come with challenges. In life things happen. And if you sit and allow that thing to stop you, you're stoppable. But if you keep moving, if you pick it up and say, all right, this is a gem, I can take something from this, even if you don't learn it right away, you sit down and you open it up and you read it and you look at it and you understand that this is kind of your life now, today. You believe that you can be unstoppable. So I want everybody out there to understand how unstoppable they are. Keep on moving. Your dream, that's your purpose. Follow that joint. Don't let nobody stop you, man. But tonight, I am sitting here with the one, the only, well, not the one because he's
still setting up.
Right? Not the one because he got the family name, but, man, right, he's here though. Jamai Springfield, how you feeling, good brother?
I'm blessed, man. I'm so thankful to be here, bro. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely.
You one of the few people that know that I am not the only Jamai. You know, those for people that's not from the area, you know. There is another Jamai. Shout out to my cousin Jamai.
Right.
Springfield.
Shout out to the family.
Shout out to the family.
Major shout out to the family, man. We want you to share this live, man. Tune in, because we're going to talk about his life.
Yes.
The life before he became Jamai Springfield, when he was just Jamai Springfield. You know what I mean? Like now when you say his name, you understand who he is. But before he was just a little boy. Before he was a young man growing up in the city of Chester, trying to find his way.
For sure.
And I think he's found it. And he's here to tell the story behind it and own that story. So what's going on, Jamai? How you feeling, man? What's going on? Man? What you got coming out? What's going on, bro?
Well, first I want to thank you for having me, man. I'm loving the new studio. It's amazing to see not only a lot of other people's evolution, but to see your evolution, man. It's great to see you continuing to rise and getting better and looking better, and
Absolutely.
The studio's better, and everything
Thank
just
you.
continues to evolve and get better. So congratulations to you, man.
Oh, man, thank you.
And thank you for you're one of the few people that I actually reach out to come on your platform, because I always have a good time when I'm here.
Right.
So I just want to thank you for answering the call, bro. Thank you for just always being open to having me on your platform, man. I truly appreciate it.
The first time you came through, I told you we family.
Definitely. You did. You did.
I don't think I was lying.
You did.
And I
You
know
did.
you wasn't lying.
You
So
did.
when little brother, I'm actually the little brother because you're bigger than me. But I'm gonna say when little brother call, I'm gonna answer every fucking time.
Bro,
you
I
feel me? Like what
appreciate
you
it,
need,
bro.
what you want. Let's do it. You feel me?
I appreciate
I
it.
showed you the space here. You could do something here on stage. You
I'm
feel
back.
me? Like
I'm coming.
through.
It's beautiful.
It's definitely dope,
here.
bro.
It's beautiful.
Definitely
man.
dope.
Congratulations, man.
Right.
Congratulations.
Right. Let's get into this interview, bro, because I got a couple questions, but I'm going to ask the bigger question a little bit later. I want you to share your early life and upbringing. What was that like?
I had an contrary to what it may seem, I had an amazing childhood. I was raised. My mom was murdered when I was 6 years old due to domestic violence, and ultimately, I had a village of people, a village of family, a village of women, black women, that just stepped in and just took care of me and just made sure I was good. And even throughout my, throughout growing up, God has always brought just different women into my life that took me in as their own and just blessed me and just always looked after me. You know what I mean? So I had my grandmother, my great grandmother, my actual family, and then I had people that weren't even family. You know, maybe friends of my mom or just people that I gained relationships with over time that just always was a blessing to me. And so my childhood was amazing, man.
Right.
What I'm releasing is a docuseries titled 23. And this documentary series is just my experience on the TV show The Voice, as well as me finally telling my mom's story. Her story is so tragic and so traumatic that I wasn't ready to really talk about it yet. I wasn't ready. And so, as some people may or may not know, I released the album titled 23. And it's basically, the concept of the album is my mom was murdered when she was 23 years old. And around the time her 23rd death anniversary was approaching, I was inspired to create an album entitled the album 23. The lead single is titled 23, Shannon's last words, and it is me speaking what could have been her last words as she passed. Her cause of death was exsanguination, I believe it's called, which is the loss of blood. So I just use my creativity of what I thought maybe she may have thought before she passed.
Right.
And so I was able to tell her story and through music, and I dedicated the album to her. And so I started working on this documentary because in order to put the album out, I felt that there were conversations I need to have with certain people, certain family members, certain just key people in kind of that situation, people that was with her that night, friends and family who knew what they knew. And I wanted to put a story together because, or put her story out because she was truly a victim. And she was really a victim of a classic domestic violence case.
Right.
And I keep telling people that because my mom's situation was not much different from so many other women's situation. She went through the isolation phase. She went through the denial phase. Not a lot of people knew. It was a lot of different things that transpired that was very consistent with what happened with most domestic violence cases. And so I started working on a documentary, and then I just got cold feet because I found out more details. I found out more things about her story that I just didn't know. And in the process of that, it was just very overwhelming. And around this time, I had lost my grandfather, and the album date was approaching, and it was just like, I just didn't have the bandwidth to put the documentary out as well. And so I just feel like the time is now where I can tell her story and let the world know. Really the biggest part about this docuseries that I'm excited is the world gets to meet my mom.
Right.
Like how just beautiful and funny and charming and fly and just so amazing. Like when y'all get to see this docuseries, y'all get to experience just who she was and who she is and what her spirit is. And so I think anybody that has grieved understands what it's like to lose somebody, and the world is just not the same place without that special person.
Right.
And you know, my mom was just exceptional in so many ways. She was an inspiration to so many people. She was fearless. She was trend-setting. She was so many things. And I'm just excited that the world is going to experience my mom for the first time.
Absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't think you know, I lost my mom about 2 months ago.
I did not know that.
Yeah. And you know, listening to how you describe your mother, how old were you when your mom?
Well, my condolences, bro. I had no idea.
Nah, you good. You good.
I was 6 years old.
6 years old.
Yeah, I was
right?
6.
So there are things that at that time you did not know about your mother.
I did not
right?
know.
You didn't even think to ask. You just kept on living life. Right? Sure. And now let's go back to the voice. I'm gonna keep it real funky with you. I thought the story on The Voice was gonna be about.
I'm sorry, I'm getting a message. I want to make sure.
Are you good?
It's not live on Facebook. I 1 second, y'all. I want to make sure he tagged me, so I wanted to make sure it was
You feel me? Definitely.
If you scroll on my page, it ain't on there. You see it?
It's definitely up. I tagged you on the.
I added it to my joint. I saw it on there. Hold up, 1 second.
It takes a while.
Yeah, I see it on there.
Yeah, it's on there.
You gotta scroll down. That's all. Who just texted?
It's on Facebook.
Tell them to scroll on my timeline. They'll see it.
Tell them to go to cmpradio.net.
What I'll do is I'm gonna share it right now.
Right.
I'm gonna share
cmpradio.net. It's right there at the top. All right.
Tell them to check now. My bad, bro.
No, you good. You good. You want to make sure all your fans are watching.
I want to make sure everybody's on this joint.
Right. I don't have a problem with that.
I want to make sure they on this joint for sure. And I want to make sure the sound is good. Yeah. So you lost your mom a few months ago.
Yeah, I lost her a few months ago,
bro.
I had time with my mom. I got to experience my mom. I actually lost my father when I was young, so I experienced death when I was young. So now losing my mother, right, I got to experience her fully for 32 years after my father passed away. So I got more time with my mom, but I feel exactly what you're talking about, the type of mother she was, the type of person she was, the type of energy she gave, right? I know all of that to be true, right?
For sure.
You were 6 years old, so hearing all of this stuff, did it make you feel more mad than you were? Because you weren't mad when you were 6, but now you're a grown man. How old are you now?
Yeah, I'm 35.
35 years old, and you're reliving that whole situation, right? How did that make you feel?
I think it was first it was traumatic. Right. You know, it was it's like you know, I say in the doc series about how a lot of people had the chance to grieve my mom in real time. Mm-hmm. I didn't get a chance to grieve until I was an adult. So, not to say that people are over it, right. But I didn't have the ability to process the weight of what actually happened, or what I was enduring, or what I had to endure. And then in my early 20s is when I'm like, wow, I'm really realizing this. I'm really understanding, like, this is like a forever thing. Like, when I'm 80 years old, I'm gonna be thinking about this. Right. When I'm, you know, when I have grandchildren, when, you know, it'll still be something that'll be a ripple in my life. And so I had experiences of anger because my mom, in so many ways, her death was so preventable. Mm-hmm. You know, her death was preventable. A lot of people don't know that in domestic violence cases, when women go to authorities or do restraining orders, a lot of times they're fearful because they know that the violence will take it up a notch.
Right, it will.
And that is exactly what happened to my mom. She put in a restraining order, and This was Thanksgiving week. She put in a restraining order that week. He went to jail on Friday. He was in jail for a couple of hours. He was in, he got arraigned. He was there for maybe a couple of hours. He got out that night and killed my mom that night. So, so many different things. Justice, the judge dropped the ball. Just so many different layers of her experience was preventable.
Right.
Even from when she passed, and I never even expressed these things, but like when she passed, the paramedics were not able to enter the home that she was in until the police got there. And so for whatever reason, however long it took the police to get there, it was vital time.
Absolutely.
Because with her stab wound, she wasn't, there were no major arteries.
Right.
So her cause of death was just the loss of blood. So in so many ways, she could have been saved, on so many different terms. And so finding this out as you get older and the anger that comes along with it can be really upsetting. But I realized that it's a price that she paid and I paid for me to help other people. Would I give all this up to have her back?
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
I don't give a damn. I don't care who else. Right. You know what I'm saying? But this is the cards that I was dealt, and I don't have a choice but to be a vessel to help other people, to write music, and to put my grief on display for other people to be, for awareness to be spread about domestic violence, and for other people, especially black men, to be more comfortable expressing their grief. And talking about the mental health aspects of, losing people, right. Losing a mother, losing, right. Grief at large, So.
Yeah, I was talking to my therapist yesterday, and I told her, people text me and ask me, am I all right? And I want to respond with, fuck no, I'm not all right.
Definitely.
Right? I lost my mother. I lost the only person I could go to and tell that I was dealing with something, and she didn't judge me. She loved me through it.
For sure.
Right? She loved everything about me, right? When I was running the street, when I didn't care, when I didn't care about myself, when I didn't love myself, she loved me through it.
For sure.
And I talked to her the night before she passed away.
Wow.
And just everything that she said, it sat with me that next day. I was like, you knew. And I couldn't do anything. Same thing, not the same thing that you experienced, right?
I understand you.
My mother was in a building that the ambulance couldn't get up there to her. Wow. Right? So there's possibility, right, that they could have saved her and she could be in the hospital right now. She could be home right now. We'd be like, Mom, we almost lost you. So
wow.
I feel what you're talking about. I understand loss, and I understand how important it is to talk to a therapist. I'm always pushing therapy for anybody out there, right? If you experience loss, grief can be anything. It's not just death. Loss of a job, loss of money, loss of a boyfriend, loss of a girlfriend. Like not actual death, but loss. Any kind of loss is grief. And if you are going through grief, you need to talk to somebody. Hit up Chester Community Coalition. See what kind of service they can hit. Black Men Heal, right? Any kind of therapy session where you can talk to somebody. And it's not about telling them all your business, but it is about releasing what you feel.
For sure.
And that's number one. So I'm going back to The Voice because I feel like I need to say this.
Yeah.
Watching you on The Voice was so breathtaking, right? The way you performed, the way you sang, you feel me? Everything that you were doing. You was with Britney Spears, right?
I was not with Britney Spears.
No, not Britney Spears. I'm sorry.
Like they all the same.
I'm tripping.
It's Kelly Clarkson.
Kelly Clarkson
was there.
I'm sorry.
But I was not with her. It was her first season. I was with Alicia Keys.
Alicia Keys.
Yeah, that was right. My judge.
I was thinking of Kelly Clarkson. All right, okay. Yeah. Alicia Keys. When the producers came to you and asked you for your story, and I saw your story, I was like, no. But it was your story. So I was like, all right, do your thing.
Yeah.
Why didn't you touch on that then?
Well, the truth of the matter is I was not in a state to talk about it. With this docuseries, 23, I'm able to tell my story for me the way that I want to tell my story.
Control.
And so To be clear, it say your iPad full of storage right here, just so you know.
Yeah.
You good? Okay. To be clear, they weren't aggressive. They were not rude in any kind of way. It was just being great TV producers. They knew that would be a good storyline for America, and so it was my first time on TV. And I just was not having it. I was stuck on, if y'all want me, if I'm gonna win this competition, if America's gonna fall in love with me, they're gonna do it for my talent. They're not gonna do it because they pity my story. And I think that was maybe not a dramatic, but maybe an overly sensitive way to look at the scenario, because the truth of the matter is, it could have been a story to help other people the same way it's helping people now. But I just wasn't in a space to be that vulnerable. I just wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared to talk about her. I felt like I would be exploiting her. And I just was really like, I'm good. So if I'm good, choose me because I'm good. Don't choose me because my mom was murdered. And I think another aspect of it is acceptance, because, and I've never said this before, but sometimes it's hard to accept what the reality is. And I think, in my mind, I would like to think that my purpose in life was to be the biggest star in the world.
Yes.
And for my mom to be here. Not the pain of losing my mom and the struggles that I had to endure is what propelled me to have the strength to be the biggest star in the world.
Right.
That's a hard thing to accept or reconcile with. So my concept has always been, I'm supposed to be the biggest star in the world, and I'm supposed to have my mom here with me. That's not supposed to help me get one. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
like,
absolutely.
if that makes sense. And so I think I struggle with that. And you know, a lot of people say they wouldn't change their past, they wouldn't change anything. To this day, I would give everything up to have my mom. I don't care how many people this story could help. Not that I don't care, but like in comparison to, I would have my mom here, you know.
Absolutely.
And so,
Clapping for you.
but the reality is, we've all been dealt some cards, and God creates our story. And a lot of the things that we go through, we may not ever truly understand or truly accept, but it is what it is, right. You know. And I think more recently, my perspective has been that my mom didn't die in vain. In fact, she died so that I can have the life that I have.
So you can live.
And that I can experience and show people and inspire people and write music for people that's like, nobody understands me, but the person that wrote this song really understands me, because that person, Jamai, must have went through that kind of pain that I'm experiencing. Right. You know what I'm saying?
So you writing?
Yeah.
Got some writer credit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna ask you who you writing for. You know?
Nah. I'm typically I've worked with a few people, you know, but ultimately my art has been for me.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm just growing and experimenting and just putting my art out. I just want to be found doing my purpose.
That's it.
When God blesses me, I want to be found doing what I'm supposed to do and prepared for whatever opportunity He has for me, you know?
Right. So how do you hope your story and your mother's story will inspire others?
I hope that the first thing is I'm putting a story out for me.
Right.
I realized after I released my album that it was I can't say it was better than therapy, because I don't have therapy to compare it to. But I do have the grief that I had before the album versus the grief that I have after the album's release. Right. And it's evolved into something different. Absolutely. it's not as dark and sorrowful as it was prior to releasing my album. So one thing I can hope for releasing this docuseries is that people understand that they're not alone, and that it's okay to not be okay.
Boy.
That it's okay to take your time with this thing. And I also want to put it out there that, you know, the biggest lie they can ever tell is that time heals all wounds. When people, and this may seem harsh, but when I hear about people who lost someone, I am very clear to tell them that you will never be the same and the pain will not go away. What you will do is you'll learn how to take it a day at a time.
Right.
But that shit ain't going away.
No, it's not.
That's your new buddy.
That's
your
new
new
life. Right.
That's your new hip right there.
Yes, it is. Yes,
It's going to be with you everywhere you go, with every experience you go through. And some days will be better and some days will be hard. Yeah. Some Christmases will be like, it's a good Christmas. Right. And some Christmases, it'll be like they died this morning, you know? And you won't know when Mr. Grief visits. You won't know. You know, it's like, you know, I was doing an interview earlier and I was saying how they were talking about how you could be re-traumatized. And right. I was like, you can be re-traumatized by a scent, right? By a smell. Right. My mom loved Martin. So like, I love Martin, but right. in some ways it can re-traumatize me.
Yes, it can.
Because I'll think like,
I was watching this with my
mom. Right. And not only that, my manager know this, but a lot of people that grieve know this. That like it's like a BCAD type thing. Like the way my life is separated in a time span of before my mom versus after my mom. Yep. So everything I think about is, was my mom like? It could be a Martin episode, and I look at the date and be like, man, so she didn't even get to see this episode, but she loved this episode. Right. I mean, it's like ingrained in everything. The way you live and walk throughout your life. It's your like forever companion.
It's hard.
And it's a lot, man. So I just hope that people understand like that you're not alone, and also that domestic violence is more prevalent than we can imagine.
Yes, it is.
These women are not about to come and tell you that they getting abused. And I shouldn't say only women, but these people are not about to come tell you that they're being abused. They are not going to be very open with admitting their abuse to you. And you telling them they just need to leave is not always what's going to work. It's more mental than anything.
It is.
And so I just want to spread awareness, man. You know, I really just wanted to tell my story, but right. But from a more spiritual perspective, I'm realizing that the purpose behind it is bigger than me telling my story.
Absolutely.
It's me being a vessel and spreading awareness, man. Like me too. Like I've been through all that too. You know, being abused as well by her abuser, you know, being kidnapped by her abuser.
You talked about that.
Yeah. You
wanna get into that a little bit?
Well, yeah, I haven't. A lot of people don't know this,
right? So you know, when I watched what you sent me, right, and I ain't share it with nobody, right? Yeah. You know, I made sure of that. But how old were you, number one, when it happened? And then did he kidnap? Did he take you and had you playing video games like you didn't know, or did you know? Like
exactly, it was classic abusive behavior. What he did was he picked me up from school a couple times. And he took me to his mom's house, right, and his family house, and he has a daughter, and I was at the house playing with them, like I was, you know, chilling, like, and so, unbeknownst to me, you know, I had no idea that he had taken me without my mom's consent, right. And then he called after everybody's around looking for me, my family looking for me. He called her and told her, like, that's how easy it is for me to kill him. That's how easy it is. You know, that's what abusers do. They bait you. They use things to keep you around. Right. And so, of course, I had no idea. Right. But this how easy it'll be for me to kill Jamai. This how easy it'll be for me to take him. You know what I mean? And you'll never see him again. You know? So classic domestic violence abuse behavior, you know? And of course I didn't know this until I was older.
Right,
but I remember
I remember
him
going,
coming.
right?
I remember going. I remember, I remember that a few times. But he was very clear. And in fact, you know, I remember having a good time. You know, I remember it, no harm being done to me. But, you know, legally, I mean, he kidnapped me. He took me without nobody knowing where I was, and he did it multiple times.
Wow.
And he used me as, you know, bait, as a threat, you know, to keep her around. So it got really, really dark.
Yeah, I bet it did.
Yeah.
And I ain't think, okay. Can you share a bit about the process of you making this docuseries? Like, who did you talk to? You know, how did you feel having these conversations with people, you know, about your mother, about the events? I saw a police report, looking at the police reports, like you dug deep.
Yeah.
Like what was going through your head while you was doing all this?
Yeah, so that was part of the reason why I didn't release it when I dropped the album, because I had conversations with my mom. My mom was with people, you know, she was with her friends,
right,
you know, the night, for most of that night. And so I had conversations with those friends as an adult,
right,
you know, what was going on, what happened. You know, I talked to my godmom about certain things, and actually there was actually a witness to her murder. And so I got to speak with that witness, you know. And I'm just grateful that, like, God has allowed me to have these conversations. This witness was very apologetic. She did what she had to do to protect herself and her kids,
right,
because it happened in her home, and she was kind of just woken up to the madness.
right.
And she's expressed how she always wanted to talk to me. She always wanted to speak to me and tell, you know, give her condolences. But of course, it was never really an appropriate time. And how do you do that? How do you approach? She talked about watching me on The Voice and always wanting to see me and coming to shows and never having the guts to actually introduce herself to me, but always, you know, wanted to just have a conversation with me. So I spoke with her. I spoke with the judge that let him out of jail. This man was on probation, and without getting in too many details,
He shouldn't have been out.
he shouldn't have been out, bro. And he got arrested for stalking my mom after the restraining order, while on probation, on Thanksgiving weekend, and got out of jail on a Friday night. And he killed my mom that night. He hadn't been out for more than 12 hours before he killed my mom. And so many people at fault, but I got to have a conversation with that judge. I got to sit down with face to face before my album came out and have an explanation. And it wasn't much of an explanation. It wasn't a lot of accountability.
Oh, why would
and so ultimately, though,
Judge black or white?
he was black. And here's another tricker. The judge was a friend of my family. The judge was a friend of my family.
Absolutely.
So this shit's like a Hollywood. The story is like a Hollywood, like, box office thriller. It really is unbelievable, the things that happened, and you know how terrifying of a victim my mom was. But yeah, I got to have those conversations, and I think there are more people that I wanted to speak with, but it just became so overwhelming.
Right.
And it became like, wow, I just talked to the judge. I just talked to the person that actually witnessed my mom getting murdered. Like, I need to let that marinate. I need to
Sit on that.
I need to sit on that.
Absolutely.
And then at that time, my grandfather. So the album came out on May 7th, which was my mom's 50th. Would have been her 50th birthday. But my grandfather, and I was
Right.
promoting, and I came
Absolutely.
here.
Yep.
And my grandfather died on April 15th. And so, in the midst of like planning a funeral, releasing the album of my life, and just preparing and shooting music videos and doing promos,
It was too much.
and internalizing all that information I had just learned, it was just too much, man.
Right,
It was too overwhelming,
Right.
and I got cold feet about showing people my mom. I have like home footage, but I only have but so much.
Right. You
And
want to keep that to yourself.
It's sacred.
That's,
It's sacred.
that's for me. Right. Absolutely.
It's sacred.
Right.
So I got cold feet about it, and I didn't really finish it the way that I would have wanted to. And so what the world is going to see now is the first installment of what I started on, broken down into 2 episodes. And I want to thank my manager and one of my good friends for Brick, who was adamant about keeping a lot of my mom sacred, about not sharing too much footage,
Right.
because I only have but so much.
That's it.
And she is so special. She's so so you watched it, bro.
Yeah,
So tell me what you thought about it. Tell the people what you thought about it, because it's premiering on the 24th and the 31st. So what was your, objective perspective on the docuseries? Y'all listening, make sure y'all listen, because he got to see it, and I want to hear what his perspective is on it.
I cried, bro.
Really?
And I don't know if it was because of what I'm dealing with or it was because of what you're dealing with. But I felt for you. I remember when that situation happened.
Wow.
I remember my
That's what I tell a lot of people.
Right.
It was a big thing.
Right.
It was multiple
It
news
was.
articles. It was
Bro.
it was a big thing.
It
So you
was.
actually was around in real time.
I was around in real time. I remember my cousins talking about it, right? It was a big thing, right? Especially in certain circles,
For sure.
right? It was traumatic. It was sad, but to see everything that I saw, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody, right? The docuseries was very well put together, right? From the beginning, talking about your mother and growing up and being there, and her, the way she loved you and the way she cared for you, the way, and then to get into everything, I was sitting there crying. I'm like, I felt something hit my phone. I said, oh man. I had to put the phone down for a couple minutes. I said,
Wow.
Because I haven't quite had the opportunity to grieve my mother, right? So I was sitting there grieving your mother and trying to understand how you feel as an artist, right? To get your art out, you almost need a muse, right? And I think that's really who your mother is, right?
For sure, definitely.
Without really being in your face. The imagery of her, when you close your eyes, when you're on the stage, you see her clapping for, I'm just imagining, right? The things how I would take it, right? So I think the docuseries is very well put together, right? And I know it's not the end, right? I know there's more you can put out, and watching that is almost like watching the preview of a movie.
Yeah.
Right? So you have a lot of life left. You have a lot of situations left to go into that story. I'm super proud that you had the nerve, the balls, right? Really, honestly, to put that out, because not many people can. Not many people can put out that. Something that can, in your last interview, they talk about re-traumatize, something that can re-traumatize you and put you on your knees and not have you want to go sing and do no videos and talk to your friends and lock yourself in a room. That's what that docuseries, I thought, could do. And it was real that you put it out, and you're talking about the traumas that you feel. You're talking about the way that you sing. You're talking about the why, your whys were in that docuseries. So I want to give a huge shout out to you for that, bro. And Mr. Springfield, Dante just said, "R.I.P. Mr. Springfield." That was my Spanish teacher for 3 years.
Yeah, my grandpa for sure, man.
If I didn't bring him in Dunkin' Donuts, I couldn't come in late. Mr.
Really?
Springfield, I'll be at the door. He was like, "All right, come on in." Right?
Hold on, my dad taught Spanish?
Yeah, he taught Spanish.
Really?
Yeah, he taught Spanish.
I thought he only taught English.
This is the beginning of his. This is 95. This is 96, 90. This is 95,
Nigga ain't
96.
no Spanish.
He didn't, and that's why I had to bring him in Dunkin' Donuts. Como estás? Right? Yeah.
Why ain't nobody tell me my grandpa?
Yeah, he taught Spanish, man.
Look,
Mr.
my
Springfield,
uncle just said,
man.
"Nigga, they ain't no Spanish." That's
Nigga,
what I said.
But he taught it. He was in there. I remember.
Bro, he taught Spanish.
Okay, so the original Spanish teacher got hit in the head with a Hawaiian Punch can full of juice.
No way, bro.
First day of class. My first day in the high school, bro. I go into class, they in there laughing. I go sit down in my seat. I'm looking around. I was a nerd. I got my glasses on. You feel me? And the next thing I see is a Hawaiian Punch can hit the teacher right in the back of the head. Boom!
Are you kidding me?
Oh, it was over. I said, "Y'all do that to the teachers?"
Yo.
Oh, it's time. It's time for me to go. I ain't never go back to class until Mrs. Springfield was in there. He was like, "Man, if you gonna come in here like that, man, you got to bring me something, man. I need the paper and some donuts." All right, I got you.
No way, bro.
Every day,
I had no idea.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So you still don't know Spanish, do you?
No.
Not at all.
No, not one lick. Not one lick. See.
Oh
right?
my gosh, that's crazy.
But the experience that I had with him, right? I was in the academy for 1 year with Reggie. You feel me? Just knowing your family, knowing the way and what they stood for, right? And seeing it all in you and how you're talking on this docuseries and how you want people to understand who your mother was, bro. It was amazing.
Thank you, man.
I thank you for sharing your pain with others. I thank you for looking to be an inspiration to others that are experiencing the same thing, and for talking about domestic violence, because we don't talk about it enough.
For sure.
And we don't talk about therapy enough. So all of these things that you worked into this docuseries are things that the black community need to come to grips with.
For sure.
Because we got a lot of people that are dealing with things, and they close off and they close the doors, and they calling, but they not really asking the questions. And I just called my friend. I said, "Yo, you want to talk? You good? I don't know what you want to say, but whatever you want to say, I'm here to listen.
Yeah.
I'm just here to listen, right? I ain't got nothing to say." And that's hard for me because I always got something to say. But when my friends call me, man, I'm just like, bro, I don't know how I feel. And until I had that moment where I really grieve, because I haven't been able to grieve. Again, I'm working, doing a radio station.
Yeah.
I quit both of my jobs because I felt like, it just they weren't for me. Not because they're not doing what they're supposed to do. I felt as though I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. So, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to focus on the radio station, and I'm going to push out good stuff for everybody. So you hit me up for this interview. It's therapy for me, right? Watching that docuseries is therapy. Like I said, I talked to my therapist yesterday, and I just said, it's hard for me. I feel like the room is closing in every day. The room is getting smaller and smaller. And I just want to see my mom one last time. I just want to hear her say, "Boy, shut up," right? There's certain things that she used to say to me that I'll never hear again.
Yeah.
And if I do hear it, it won't sound the same. It won't feel the same. So I'm major shout out to you for coming out with this. Major shout out to everything you're going to accomplish in the future. I'm a fan. I'm going to be there. I'm going to support you. Whatever I got to do, I'm there, bro.
Thank you, bro.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And I definitely, I'm with you in this journey, bro. Like, you said like little brother, big brother, but I kind of am a big brother in the grief thing. I'm like old as hell in the grief thing. Like I'm more familiar with grief than a lot of people are.
Absolutely.
My family, we all grieve. You know what I'm saying? And then grief has taken so many different turns in my life, and the way it's just evolved over the years. So I got to see grief
up close.
Weeks in, 5 years in, 10 years in, 15 years in. Like it gets crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember when I was about to turn 23, and I was like, wow, I wonder if I'm gonna live past 23, because my mom was 23. And,
you were there too?
Coming up her 23rd anniversary, as it was creeping up. It was it's a lot of different things. It lives with you. So
It does.
I just say like, try to find a way to just take today as like a day at a time. Try to find a way to. All right, I can't worry about all of the past and all of the future, but if I could just get up and give me something to eat right now, if I could just get up and get to work, or if I could just get up and enjoy this moment that I'm in right here, like, because it'll drive you crazy, bro.
It will.
It'll drive you crazy.
It will.
Especially from my scenario, my situation, it was so preventable, bro. It's like 20 different things had to happen before that happened.
Right.
And so
For
many
all 20 things to happen.
she could have been here.
Right.
Damn. So that can breed like anger. You know what I'm saying? It can be like she wasn't sick. She wasn't, she didn't fall ill to anything.
Right.
It wasn't like one day she here and the next she not, I even have footage of like maybe like 2 days before she passed and she trying to get me to dance house doing the butterfly. And we will not put that in the documentary.
Right.
But yeah, like this is like 2 days before. This is like Thanksgiving Eve. Like, we just at the crib and, so it's just crazy how full of life she was to have to be taken away so violently,
What do you want people to remember about your mother?
I just want people to turn my phone off around. What you mean? Yeah, I want him staying in it. My manager just keep interrupting the interview today.
He on you.
I was trying to show him.
Right.
But I want the world to just check out the docuseries because when you meet this girl,
fall in love with her, bro.
Bro, like she just was so fly. Like she was so dope. Like, and like you'll be able to see our connection. And like even you, I want to encourage you, P, like make sure you check out the final version because what you saw is like close to the end,
right?
Close to the final version, but the final version is it's even more in it, and you get to see more of her. And I think what I want the world to remember about her, the world will remember. Absolutely. Because once you see her in this docuseries, you'll see why I'm crazy over her. You'll see why. Everybody, I could be in a different city. I could be in the airport in a different city and they be like, Shannon. I can be, people always come up to me talking about, and it's over 25 years ago she passed, but she left that kind of impact on so many people. I had an author send me a book, and this author wrote a poem about my mom. She said my mom used to give her advice when she was only 10 or 11 years old. Sheesh. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have people, I got stories for days, man, of just the impact that she left on so many people. And so I'm excited that once y'all see this docuseries, you'll be impacted as well. Absolutely. So I don't even got to tell you what I want you to remember about her because she gonna be unforgettable when you see her. You know what I mean? When you experience her. So.
Man, I want to thank you for taking the time out to come through the radio station. You know, I love you, bro. I want you to keep moving. What else you working on, bro? What you got coming up? You on some tours? What you doing?
Well, thank you for having me, bro. And all I'm going to say is we just getting started, baby.
Yes, sir.
We just getting started.
Yes, sir.
I got some heat. Like, I got some heat. Just know that, like,
right. It's coming.
The summer is going to be crazy. The fall is going to be wild. The winter is going to be ridiculous. Like, I got some heat. Like, okay. I got some heat. Right. And, you know, I'm focused on what I need to be focused on, and that's creating. And so my oxygen is just to create. Right. It's just to create. And I'm in the editing space. I'm in the directing space. I'm in the production space. So aside from me playing piano, playing guitar, songwriting, producing, I'm also, you know, editing, and I'm also directing, and I'm scripting. So it's a lot of
You
things
working.
moving forward. You
Absolutely.
know, I'll be out here building sets, bro. Like,
Yeah.
dead
Come on,
ass,
man.
bro.
Come on, man.
Like, cause you know, like, look at you not a painter, bro.
No.
But when you need your studio to be painted,
Right.
and you can't find a painter,
Right, you're gonna throw the
you
paint on
become
the
a
wall.
painter, bro.
Absolutely.
I'm not an
Absolutely.
editor, but I am an editor.
Right.
Not a director, but I am a director.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And God has given me every single thing that I need. God has already stored it inside of me.
Come on, man.
So moving forward, all I'm doing is delegating as I can afford to, financially. You know what I'm saying?
Let's
But
go. Let's
the
go.
fire is already in the can. You know what I'm saying? So thank you for having me, bro.
Oh,
Y'all
no
please
problem.
check out the 23 docuseries. It premieres on the 24th. This coming July 24th, Wednesday at 7 p.m. EST. And the 31st. It's a 2-part docuseries that will eventually continue. And if
And
you
where can they
ever-
find it at?
they can if you DM me, I'll send it to you personally when it premieres. But it'll be premiering on YouTube, and you can go to my YouTube page. If you go Jamai Music on all platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, LinkedIn, YouTube, you can find me. And the videos premiere, and you can click notify me, or you could DM me on any of these platforms, and I'll text it to your phone, bro. Like, that's how crazy this is. So DM me if you want to be the first to know about this docuseries.
Absolutely.
And if you've ever experienced grief, if you ever supported me, if you ever wanted to know my story, or if you just want to smile and meet a beautiful soul, you need to check out the docuseries on the 24th. It's amazing. P watched it. P said it was amazing.
It's amazing, bro.
He said
It
it's
is.
amazing.
It is. And you
He
said,
said
I
he
didn't even
cried.
get the final cut.
And you ain't get the final cut, but if you really cried, that really touched me in all seriousness.
No, I
I'm
really,
truly
seriously,
grateful, bro.
seriously. Like I said, dealing with grief, bro, like when it's in you, right? And like I said, I experienced it twice with my father.
Yeah.
And the same thing you said. You was looking at 23 and you was like, am I going to make it past?
That's what you did with your dad.
My number was 37. So when I turned 37 is the year I started the radio station. Because I thought I was going to die at 37, right? I
What
didn't
is
see
that,
anything
bro?
for me past 37. 37 came and I was like, oh, shit.
Like, hold up.
I can't do this shit for the rest of my life. All right, I got to do
Yeah.
something else. I literally went to a therapist because of that. Because I was still here and I'm like, oh, shit, I done made some mistakes. Oh, damn, I got to, fuck. Like, I got to figure out some things. And I went to the therapist and I talked to him, bro, and he broke it down. He said, what you want to be when you grow up? I said, what you mean grow up? He said, because you're 16 years old. You act as a child, you behave as a child, you talk as a child. What do you want to be when you grow up? I said, I always wanted to be Tony Brown, late night, WDAS, right? I always wanted to do that. So he said, go do it. I said,
It's
man.
really that simple, bro.
He said, listen, if you believe that you can,
My God.
you will. And I was like, you know what? I left then, went and
Lucky I ain't got an organ right here, boy.
went and brought a journal, got the writing down, cultivating mature positivity. What's the name of the radio station?
CMP, baby.
Right? And all of that stuff came because he unlocked that door that I was sitting at crying in front of, and I didn't realize I was crying. I didn't realize I was hurting. I didn't realize I was running the street because I wanted to die. I didn't realize I was doing the things because I didn't die. I'm bullets flying past me, not hitting me. I'm like, what the hell? Like, what? No, I was supposed to do this, right? And then I'm opening doors for my children so they don't have to go through. So watching that story hit me in so many different ways. I sat back on the couch and I cried, bro. I did. I really did. And it wasn't one of those little teary joints. It was, you can feel your face just all
It was
frowned
the
up. I
ugly
was like,
joint.
damn, man, why?
Wow.
But it was a beautiful tribute to a very beautiful woman. And like I said, I don't want to spoil it because you got to watch it. You got to watch it. And I know you can be re-traumatized. I get that. And you don't want to watch it. But watch it so you understand what moves Jamai. Why Jamai does what he does. And he does what he does so very well.
Thank
right?
you, man.
So
that means the world,
bro,
man.
listen,
that means the world because I don't know. I have a lot of interviews set up to promote this docuseries, but I don't think none of them are up from people who actually knew my mom, who actually remember when it happened in real time. And so that means so much to me, man, that you have those two references to give an objective opinion. So thank you, bro. I truly appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you,
Thank
bro.
you, bro.
And you definitely did a great thing with this, man. So I want anybody that's out there that feels like their walls are closing in, I feel like they can't keep moving, like there's no reason to keep moving forward. I want you to understand you are unstoppable.
Yeah, the shirt.
Nothing can stop you. Things pop up. You let them get out the way. You can sit for a minute. You can't sit long.
For sure.
But you got to keep moving forward. Don't allow things to stop you. Keep pushing. Become unstoppable in everything that you do. Now have respect. Unstoppable does not mean disrespect. Respectfully, I am unstoppable. Thank you, Jamai. I appreciate you, bro. Like I said, anytime you want to come through, we got the stage over there. You want to come through, you want to have a little listening party here, you can do that.
I'm back.
Please come back.
I love the studio. I love the new space.
Please come back.
I love the new space.
Absolutely.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, y'all. Please check out the 23 docuseries. It's the story of love and resilience. You get to meet my mom. She's like really dope AF.
Definitely dope.
So check out the docuseries. It's premiering on July 24th and July 31st at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can follow me on all platforms, JAMAI Music, anywhere. And I'm thankful to be here. God bless y'all. Take care of yourself, man. And do what you love in life, man, because I'm doing what I love.
CMPradio.net.
Holler.
Man. I want to thank Jamai for stopping through. Listen, make sure you go do what he told you to do. Jamai Music on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and all the other social media places that he's at. Go check him out. The dates again, Jamai, give them to me one more time.
July 24th.
The 24th.
And the 31st.
And the 31st at
Wednesday.
7 p.m.
Yep.
Check it out, man. I'm telling you, you won't be upset if you knew Shannon. If you know her spirit, and you see Jamai and you understand why he is the way he is, watch the documentary, please. It's CMPradio.net. You know it's your boy Uncle P, man. I want y'all to have a blessed day. Y'all know I love y'all on purpose. And remember, if you don't believe it, nobody else will. You are unstoppable.
Unstoppable, baby.